So they have a bunch of nuggets in here from Serra Pelada, right?
Yeah, they have some of the biggest gold nuggets in the world.
Look at these doors.
Wow. We cannot show the doors.
Wow, look at all these. Wow, look at that one. Where did this one come from?
This comes from Serra Pelada, the place we are going next.
I don't really know anything about Serra Pelada. All I know is that there was a huge gold rush there in the 80s and that billions of dollars worth of gold got found by hand. Like, the people are alive still. That's cool.
Here, they have the biggest gold nugget that was discovered in Serra Pelada in the 80s.
This is real. Can we film it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Wow, okay.
It's around 60 kilos, 1,600 troy ounces.
Like 130 pounds, 135 pounds. You would never melt that down. A collector would probably pay, like, I don't know, 100 million?
What?
Like at a big auction, like, who knows?
Oh my God.
Very strange looking.
It looks so dark.
Yeah, it's got a wire structure, see? And it's like wired all stuck together. Like normally gold nuggets are just hunks of gold that are pretty boring, but that one's very interesting. I would like it.
I was not expecting to walk in a room with the biggest gold nugget in it today.
Yeah,
That's
right?
pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Looking at this stuff, it definitely seems like we're on the right track, and Serra Pelada seems like a good place to go. Then see if there's more left.
On a journey that started in Porto Velho, Parker Schnabel and his team head from the capital, Brasilia, to the state of Para and the remote Amazonian town of Serra Pelada. Home to one of the biggest gold rushes in history. Over $5 billion of gold in today's money was found in just 13 years. Nearly 7 times more than the infamous Klondike Gold Rush.
So when did the majority of the gold come out of the ground in Serra Pelada?
So like it was in the beginning of the 80s, it's when it started.
Yeah.
Because people discovered the gold. So after the first discovery, like the word spread it and like everybody came to Serra Pelada.
In 1979, a cattle ranch owner struck ground so rich in gold that nuggets worth $100,000 could be extracted by hand. Word spread, and within months, thousands of hopeful miners from across South America descended on Serra Pelada to seek their fortune.
This is a pretty cool video I found on Serra Pelada. It's wild.
On any one day, there's anything between 40 and 80,000 of these blokes, all digging away feverishly to make this hole in the ground wider and deeper.
What?
It's crazy, right?
By 1984, when an Australian film crew arrived to document the rush, the pit was 600 feet deep and 1,300 feet wide.
Whatever they did before they came here, these fortune seekers, or maybe they're just wishful thinkers, are now prospectors. They all come here with a dream of getting filthy rich overnight.
Unable to afford machinery or to transport it to the middle of the jungle, the miners dug the enormous pit entirely by hand. At its height, over $2 million worth of gold was being pulled from the mine every day.
It's crazy that like that much happened in the 80s, and then it seems like almost nothing's happened since then.
Bom dia, você é barbudo?
É ele. Barbudo is a bona fide old-timer who arrived in Serra Pelada in 1981 at the height of the rush.
Barbudo. This guy is amazing.
Eu tô aqui do garimpo, eu tô de 81.
Was he a part of a good claim?
Você conseguiu muito ouro?
Eu não, mas muitos conseguiram.
Ah, você não?
Eu consegui só gastar o tempo, cansaço, dor.
Working small 6 by 9 foot claims, Barbudo was one of the thousands of miners fighting for their share of the billion-dollar bounty.
Sempre controlado com PMs e Polícia Federal. Ninguém podia estar com faca nem com nada lá, tá limpo.
One thing that helped not to get so violent was they weren't allowed to carry any knives, any nothing. Mas e lá na mina, tinha violência?
Não, algum morrinho, algum troca de empurrãozinho, mais coisinha.
10 years later, the gold was still flowing, but dangerous landslides claimed lives. In 1992, the government shut the mine down, forcing thousands out, including Barbudo, and leaving the pit to flood. But to this day, most Serra Pelada miners share one belief, that much more gold remains in the ground. Just 50 yards from the flooded pit is the small mine of Chico Osario, veteran of the gold rush. He is one of the only people who still has a permit.
Parker.
O Parker, rei do ouro dos Estados Unidos.
É, the king
E
of
aqui eu sou o
gold.
rei do ouro da Serra Pelada.
He said he's the king of gold here, you're the king of gold there.
What happened?
Quebrou.
Broke.
Moto.
Como? Ah, it was a motorbike accident.
When?
When? É muito tempo?
Não, tá comendo uns 30 dias.
30 days prison.
Nessa época eu tinha a idade dele.
He was your age when he was working in the mine. Total de ouro que você pegou foi 1.000.
Pô, 1.000 quilos. Em 15 dias.
You found 1,000 kilos of gold in 15 days.
I don't think I've ever met anybody that's found that much gold in that amount of time. For sure, I haven't. So it sounds like the vein of gold was like super rich.
É, porque quando nós chegamos no Cascais Geral, ele tem 18 metros de grossura com 80% de ouro.
That's crazy.
Chico's 1-ton gold windfall, equivalent to $32 million, is legendary in Serra Pelada to this day. And for a few years, Chico lived the high life. Owner of 2 private jets, Chico was a regular on the Rio de Janeiro party scene.
He was doing parties like in Rio, in other parts, like in the beaches everywhere, not here.
I love how normal it is for them. Like talking about what it was like in the 80s, for them it's just like, oh yeah, it's not a big deal. Like, it was definitely a big deal.
But what happened to the rest of the money?
Aqui dentro da cava.
Dentro da cave, and he said he spent all the money in the cave, in the pit, because he was investing to find more gold.
Gotcha.
E o pior, fala pra ele que o pior, daí o ouro tá descoberto.
He's saying that like there are some areas where there are really big gold nuggets still.
Mas vamos lá porque o interesse é que ele veja aí tudo aí.
He wants to go with you and like to show you.
Sweet, that would be cool.
For the last 20 years, Chico spent all his money mining at the pit's edge, trying to get back on the gold vein that made him a millionaire in the 1980s.
Somebody hits the lottery and wants to spend every last penny that they made on more lottery tickets, so be it. But I'm boring. I mean, you look at me right now and you look at Chico when he was at my age, which one would you rather hang out with? Chico was like chartering jets out of the jungle to go stay in the fanciest hotel in Rio with rags for clothes. Like, I'd much rather hang out with him than me. I'm boring.